Very
Ladies and gentlemen, we are the Rum Regret podcast. I am Andy Drake.
Johanna Myers.
Nate Tussey, and we drink and we know things.
And tonight we are joined by the only friend I made in Oregon, and then he moved the fuck away. So go to hell. I don't even know why I brought you on here tonight. No, ladies and gentlemen, the Star Wars aficionado, literally he was my Oregon Nate. Now he's my South Carolina Nate.
Would you say you have Nates in different area codes?
I do.
He's a collector of Nates.
I am a collector of Nates.
Let me go change my name.
Right, yeah. Austin Dickinson is on the podcast. We've mentioned him many times. Austin, how the hell are you, man?
I am great, man. I really am. I appreciate you guys inviting me on. That this is probably the best reason to be invited to talk about the Mandalorian.
That's
Hell
right.
yeah. Welcome.
Yeah, dude.
Thank you.
I know we're probably going to do a couple of podcasts around the Mandalorian this season, and so I definitely wanted to get you on one of them, if not all of them. So
hey, I got nothing but time.
Right. So first off, for all three people who will probably download this and listen to this, we got to get your nerd leanings set. So
Okay.
Would you say that you are more Star Wars or Star Trek?
Star Wars, 100%.
All right, good. And then are you more DC or Marvel?
It's a hard one. I love Marvel. Like, that's where my heart is. But some of the new DC stuff coming out looks phenomenal.
Okay, good. And then let's see. I don't know. I expected longer answers to those. I'm all out.
You asked me two questions: Star Wars or Star Trek?
Yeah, right. And it's done. And that's what she said.
All right.
And
Horror or fantasy?
That's a good one. Horror or fantasy?
I'm sorry.
Horror or fantasy?
Fantasy, 100%.
yes.
I like some horror movies, but I tend to lean more towards the fantasy stuff, like Lord of the Rings and all that. I have a special place in my heart. So
Good. I have a question then. So regarding sci-fi, what's your favorite sci-fi movie?
oh, there's so many.
I know. Just one.
God.
Name them all.
Yeah.
Because clearly Star Wars, we're going to put that up to the side.
Star Wars is a pedestal upon itself.
Right.
Fantasy.
I love, so to go back to like way back, the Dune movies are great. I love Dune. To see them coming back as a new movie and being rebooted, I'm not 100% sure on it. It looks phenomenal.
It looks so good.
I know. It's like I want to be so happy, but at the same time,
Right.
It's like if it fails, I'm just gonna be like, I told you.
Yeah.
So
It's hard to touch. It's hard to touch something like that had such a great sort of cult movie feel.
yes.
And then try to bring it back, and because those, that movie, especially the Dune movie, I don't know. It had clearly it never got a sequel because there's so many books in the Frank Herbert series.
right.
But it garnered such a great sort of following for cult is that they don't seem to make these movies for niche sort of things. Like I think the one thing that scares me about movies now, and I recently sort of said this on the podcast with a movie like The Golden Compass, but then his Dark Materials series. The series is so much better, and
without a doubt,
it's deserving. So like I have a feeling that Dune could benefit from a fucking super series on like HBO Stars or like Hulu or something.
Yeah.
And just take it as long as you want because there's so much material around it.
Right.
So
that's like there's Amazon got their hands on the rights for the Wheel of Time stuff.
Right.
I don't know if y'all are versed in it or not, but
Yeah.
It's supposed to be the next Game of Thrones, and but it keeps getting held up and COVID outbreaks and everything like that, and everybody's panicking. They don't want to shoot, and which is awful. But there's so much source material. I don't know what they're gonna do with it. I hope they don't pick it up. I really don't.
Right. Yeah. And then one final question. What, in your estimation, is the best Star Wars movie?
Oh, you got it.
I had to go there.
Come on, you knew that was coming.
Yeah.
You know, I'm going to take a lot of crap for this, but I really loved the Solo movie. Everybody's like, the Solo, but it gives you so much backstory on such a major character in the franchise that it because he kind of just steps in and you don't know who he is, you don't know what he was, you don't know how he got anything, and it really covered that. Now the movie itself might not have been the best, but it covered some information that was, in my opinion, necessary for the whole gambit of Star Wars.
That's good. That's good. I mean, I'm shocked that you went this long.
I think we're all shocked. That wasn't even in my top 5 consideration that he was going to say. I'm like, that makes sense if he says that. Okay, that makes sense if he says that.
Right.
Not Empire, not Rogue One, but Solo.
Rogue One was phenomenal. Don't get me wrong. Rogue One was phenomenal. As a standalone movie, it was great. And it's hard to put a pin as number one on any of the series. Yeah. Because they're all in their own right such great movies. You know, the original 3, George Lucas made leaps and bounds with what he did, and he changed the world. You know, and then you've got the sequel or the prequels when people were like, we got Jar Jar, yay, and then we get the oh my god, my
sequel
brain
the sequel trilogy.
Yeah, my brain just shut off. It was like,
oh, sorry, they were forgettable.
That's okay. Right? Yeah.
Unfortunately.
And you get a semi-controlled dumpster fire, full-blown dumpster fire, and then some little bit of fire extinguisher to try to cool it off at the end. And so it's like it's hard to pin in that series of which one is my favorite. So it's like that's why I kind of go to one of the less. It's just me, I guess.
Okay, no, that is a brave answer to say the least.
And like I said, I'm gonna get a lot of crap for it. But,
this is probably all the crap you'll get because, like Andy said, we have 3 listeners, so don't expect a blowback on your socials after this.
Right? Yeah. No, there's yeah. Austin torched on social media after controversial Solo comment.
He's got 4 comments.
Right. Oh, man.
3 are going to be from me. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, so tonight we are talking about season 2, episode 1 of The Mandalorian. It finally dropped, and it did not disappoint in any way, shape, or form. I feel safe saying that this sort of expanded on the awesomeness that was season 1 and just sort of blew it right out of the water. So let's I don't know. Let's send it to Joe sort of as Joe. What did you think of episode 1?
Oh, it was fantastic.
Yeah.
And I'm so happy the show's back because this is like, I've said this before, but it's like reinvigorated my love of Star Wars. And I'm like, thank you. You're the palate cleanser I needed after everything since Return of the Jedi, pretty much.
Right. Yeah.
But one of the things that got me was the music in this show is freaking-tastic.
Dude, yeah,
I cannot get over it.
Man, I was gonna bring this up too, but even in that very first fight scene when the guy shoots the Gamorrean and then all hell breaks loose.
Yeah,
that guitar theme underneath the fight is just so good.
I think that they nailed that like spaghetti western gunslinger type movie, that sound. It's just such a classic sound to it. It's
so
just
well.
It plays amazing in my head most of the day. I'm no, it's
Not that
it's
you're playing
there.
it in the background at all, you know.
And it's
No,
become
yeah.
our unofficial outro.
No,
Right,
that's
exactly.
true. Yeah. So yeah, that's something else too. I Peter Griffin hum the Mandalorian theme at the end of this, just so you're not
Just to prepare you.
yeah, just so you're not thrown off or anything when that happens.
So it'd be like any other time we hung out.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
Pretty
much.
All right, I gotta go. Actually, Austin does that and plays you out with it. That's
right.
That's the twist.
Play me out, Austin.
Whoever leaves, the other one hums. That's all.
If we ever get together in a room again, I think that has to be the rule. Like anytime somebody leaves, everyone has to outro them as Peter Griffin in the Mando theme.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Joe, beware.
Amazing.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my god.
Nate, what did you think of season 2, episode 1, man?
Oh man, lots of thoughts. I didn't really like it. I'm just kidding. I think I loved it. It was fucking amazing.
Someone delete that guy.
Geez.
Yeah.
They dropped off the pod. Oh, geez, we lost him.
Exactly.
His internet's all screwed
Not
up.
quite as controversial as opinion as Solo is the best Star Wars movie, but
I didn't say the best. I said my
okay,
favorite.
your favorite.
Yeah.
That's true. We didn't qualify the question very well. Yeah, absolutely amazing. I mean, the fan service in just this one episode kind of rolled all of season 1 into a ball and presented it as far as the number of Easter eggs and fan service pieces.
Without a doubt.
And
I mean, it hit almost every trilogy of movie,
right,
you know.
Yep.
Expanded universe, obviously,
right.
And I mean, yeah, it was the love and care that goes into the writing of these episodes
Right.
is incredible.
Yeah, I can hear Filoni in the background going like, "Oh my god, this is gonna be so cool!" And then when they watch, it's like, "Oh my god, it's so cool!" Right. Yeah, I loved it. It had something for everybody. Addie watched it with Addie, and she absolutely loved it too. My 12-year-old daughter, Austin, and she's a full-on Marvel, Star Wars, DC. She loves all that stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it's great. But to Joe's point, it really, the Mandalorian episode or season 1, really did kind of get me back on track as far as not really. I mean, I liked the sequel trilogies. I mean, the first one kind of, but it was a good palate cleanser, and it also led me back to watching all of the animated stuff again. So
Yeah,
we binge watched the Clone Wars, we binge watched Rebels, we binge watched whatever the other one is. And then we went back. Yeah, and then we went back and watched the prequel trilogy again, except for the first movie because that can just go away. We
Forget
watched
about that one.
Yeah, we watched Attack of the
This
Clones
is
and Revenge of the
pod
Sith again, and I actually had so much more appreciation for those movies because of the animated series, and that was all thanks to the Mandalorian. So to bring it back full circle, the only thing that we can keep from A Phantom Menace is the pod racer that gets ridden later in the episode.
right.
Yeah. Wait, is that wait, that's not just one of the pod racer. That's his fucking pod racer engine.
Right.
I guess we could talk about Easter eggs in a separate thing because I could go forever. So I'll just leave it there. It was amazing.
Well,
It probably cost him $50 million to make, and it was worth it. So,
Right. Yeah. Austin, just general thoughts on season 2, episode 1, man.
I hate to sound like a broken record for everybody else, but no, you're right. It really, like, season 1 brought back that love and that I can't even think of the words for it, but that love for Star Wars that I had missed, that, you know, that the prequels didn't, or the sequels really didn't give you. And when the Mandalorian dropped, it was just so amazing. And then that first episode was just, yeah, like what you were saying with the pod racer. I sit there watching, and I'm like hitting my wife. I'm like, babe, that's Anakin's pod racer.
Nope.
She's like, what? And it was just, the whole episode was like that. And then you get the closing, and I was like,
Yeah.
you know, it was,
Yeah.
it just, there's no words that I can think of that express how happy I am
Yeah,
for this episode.
It was so good.
Yeah.
How about you, Andy? What are your generals?
I mean, this was, you know, it's always tough when something hits so hard, like season 1 of Mandalorian, on so many notes of of really bringing your love back for a franchise that had been teetering for a long time. And and I know we talked about this last year when the sequel trilogy was finishing up and getting made, is that I was so fulfilled with Star Wars that the Rise of Skywalker could have been them just sitting around the campfire on Endor, like talking about the first two movies, and I would have been fine, because Mandalorian is making up for where those movies sort of fell off. And I don't know, and it goes back to the singular voices of Favreau and Filoni writing this and really caring for it, and making sure that it grounds itself in a way to Star Wars that feels like it's a suitable side story that's happening alongside the main sort of Skywalker story. This little branch of the Mandalorians, and they expanded on them just so cool in their in their way of life and how they deal with things. And yeah, just this episode, I think, like wrapped sort of all of that up in it, and really just like, this is where we're going to start off with season 2. This is where we're going to go. And I mean, they paid off. Yeah. So much sort of fan service, but not in a cheap, like awful way that the sequel trilogy did. Yep. Totally. They really made it work within the story. And that was just, I mean, that alone was just, I thought was so cool. And that it made such a great episode. I love that it went a little longer than than the episodes last season. I hope that happens for all the episodes, but that's just me. That's just me being greedy. Yeah. But man, no, it was such a great start to the season. And I mean, God, if this is season 1, or if this is episode 1,
yeah,
I can only imagine like what we're in for.
Yeah, I mean, we already know we're going to get Ahsoka Tano, and there's got to be more Mandalorians at some point. I'd love for them to bring Thrawn into this. Holy shit, that'd be
incredible, right?
I mean, I think that's probably something they'll do down the line, because it might be a little early for that. But I can't wait to see what they do. I can't wait to see what other cameos are in there, because John Leguizamo,
was Lord Koresh,
was hilarious.
Hell yeah!
And then obviously Deadwood man himself. What's his name?
Timothy Oliphant.
The sheriff, Oliphant. Every time I see Oliphant, I have to think of A Girl Next Door. He is the porn producer in The Girl Next Door.
That's right. Yeah.
I was like, wait, where are you linking?
Yeah, exactly. He's not a sheriff. He produces porn with Girl Next Door types.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. And the guy who played the Weequay too was in Deadwood as well.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember reading something about that.
Right. Yeah. Anyway, we can go through sort of the episode, and just, what was cool, what was, whatever, and we can just blow this episode.
Well, before there's any sloppy seconds, thirds, or fourths, allow me to, let's prequel this real quick, kind of rewind it a little bit. So I was watching one of those, there's this many Easter eggs in this episode kind of thing.
Right.
But one that they talked about from the last episode of the previous season, in that whole scene where he's being rescued as a foundling by the Mandalorians, the Mandalorian has a Death Watch symbol on his pauldron. And Death Watch is a huge group from the
Clone
Wars and from Rebels. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
I didn't catch that.
I didn't either. I watched it today and went, "Holy shit! It totally Death Watch."
So that means we could very well get someone like Bo-Katan into this season,
exactly.
Or Sabine. Because if you think about it, the graffiti that was all over there at the beginning
looks like
very similar to what she did. So it's like, who else are we going to get? Because
Well,
they're playing
right.
a lot of fan service at this. So it's like,
As soon as they revealed the Darksaber at the end of that episode, it
Yeah.
blew
Oh, God.
everything wide open. Like,
Yeah.
there's so much you can do with that because
and
now
we
that means
didn't even
everything's
see
canon.
Moff Gideon in this episode, and he was such
Right.
a prominent tail to the last season. And
Right.
they're like, yeah, whatever, we'll get him later.
Yeah, Darksaber. We're not going to touch that.
Yeah.
How do you
Right.
not?
We're gonna make you wait.
The only way you can address not having the Darksaber in episode 1 is to have fucking Boba Fett. That's the only way that
right, exactly. Yeah. No,
What
and
a
that's
great redirect too, like the misdirection with the armor and everything. Oh,
right.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's but that was the good part of it. Like no Grief Karga, no Cara Dune, you
Mhm.
know. None of those people, none of that made, you know, such great staples of last season. Yeah, and then no Moff Gideon, but sure enough, we still get this great kick-ass episode
Right.
of you know, of just amazing.
Seeing Boba there at the end in the Tusken Raider wraps makes me wonder if he was even down there when they were fighting the Karat dragon.
yeah, maybe.
Crate Dragon.
Crate
Crate
dragon.
Crate, yeah.
Yeah. That's possible.
I
I
knew
mean, he's been undercover tracking his armor. Maybe I mean, how does it
Well,
get to the
'cause-
Jawas? Like, how does
Well,
that work?
with the Marshal's backstory,
Yeah.
how he says that he, you know, it was right after the fall of the Empire and everything like that. So it couldn't have been that long from
Right.
when he fell into the pit and the Marshal gets the Cobb van. Or-
Yeah.
Cobb
Yeah.
Vance, yeah.
Yeah, where he
So
gets
walked
the
for
army.
days. Yeah, he walked
Yeah.
for days, and then
He walked
the
for
Jawas
days and
picked him
then he
up,
picked.
and
Right,
they already had the armor. So like, yeah.
well, and he had the ice cream container too.
Yeah, he did.
Right.
I love how they
Yeah.
brought that back. No
I know.
Darksaber, but let's
Yep.
bring back the ice cream container.
Yeah, random
Yes.
dude in a hallway.
Uh-huh.
So it's, but yeah, it was like,
Yeah.
it's like, what was that timeline? It's like, how did he come out of the Snorlax it's just, there's so many questions that I want to know.
Yeah.
So didn't they novelize that the Sarlacc couldn't digest his armor, and that was,
well, it's
that
the
was
best.
whole-
The best car can't be dissolved.
right?
But it's
So
piecemeal
that's-
though. The rest of him is completely.
Right.
It's not like he's in full plate like a.
I know.
But maybe maybe that gave him the oomph to get out, or he did what the Mando does in the middle of
just
because
blows it up.
because
No,
they
he, like,
they
Tases it or
said,
uses a flamethrower.
Oh,
or
that's right.
something
He
and then
uses
flies
he uses
out.
the Ambin.
yeah
It's his Ambin rifle to electrocute it to where it spits
Right.
him up, and then
Right.
yeah, but then why does he ditch his armor then?
Right.
That's the whole point. Yeah.
maybe he came out unconscious. The
Oh,
Jawas,
maybe the Jawas took it.
the
from him.
Jawas stripped him and were
great.
like,
Oh,
the Jawas were like, he's dead
yeah.
anyway, and they strip him
That's
and bounce,
great.
and then
Yeah,
he wakes
that's
up
gotta
and he's
be
got
it.
nothing.
That has to be it because they
As
were
long
on
as they don't
Mando's
go, like-
ship.
Yeah. As long as they
Yeah.
don't go like, oh, Boba Fett, flamethrower, and it threw him back up. No, I want meat and potatoes to this story.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Don't give me
So-
mac and cheese. I want the meat.
Right. Yeah. Another great thing about this episode is the sort of the treaty with the Sand People, and that
Yes.
you can talk and reason with them.
Yeah, I didn't like the conversation honestly because in the last season it was all sign. It wasn't
Yeah.
talking at all.
And then there
Yeah.
were the grunts.
Yeah, and
Right.
so it was kind of jarring, but I do like the humanization of them, if that's the wrong word, but it
No,
is.
absolutely.
No,
Yeah.
I'd say it's very much the right word.
Well, because they're indigenous people. They're not just, they're savages. Yeah, they're very animalistic and they're very protective and that kind of thing. And but the Revenge of the Sith version. It's
Right,
pretty brutal.
But yeah, I know that was you have whiny Anakin going to save his mom, saying they're monsters and screw
right.
you
Well,
guys. So
in his defense, they did have her up on a tear harness, like it's kind of a
I'm not
rape
saying he
crucible right
wasn't
there.
I'm not saying he wasn't justified, but he was. They are the Johnny Lawrence of.
Oh Jesus.
Wait, so the Sand People are actually the Sand People
Cobra Kai,
win.
Cobra Kai,
Yeah,
Cobra Kai.
exactly. The Sand People win the All Valley Championship. And
That's right. That's right. And
Anakin is the
Anakin is the
is the
Ralph
villain.
Macchio.
Yeah, exactly. That's hilarious. Oh my god. And the show is at a new low.
Yeah.
Jobin, I want to hear some of your thoughts. I'm sorry, I'm talking all over you.
It's fine. I'm stoked because we always kind of, I think, knew that Boba Fett was eventually going to come, and I'm glad it wasn't ham-fisted, and it was very well played. And I, of course, always love the creatures, so the crate dragon for me was probably my favorite part.
Dude, they did such a great job on the animation. So we're watching it with Addie, right? We're sitting like this. She's next to me. And the whole time I'm doing the same thing you were talking about, Austin. I'm hitting her like, that's the thing. That's the thing. And then, so the crate dragon comes out of its lair and they're messing with it or whatever. And then it rears up and I'm like, is it going to breathe something? Please let it do something. And then it basically spits acid. It regurgitates its stomach bile or whatever. And I'm like, yes, it's melting people. And Addie looks at me like, ew.
But I love that the crate dragon was that original skeleton that
there was 3PO. So
Yep.
I mean, it's such a subtle, callback. But it's not subtle because it's the big bad of the episode.
Right.
And we get R5 too.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it was like right when she's like R5, I'm like, oh.
Yeah. They even show the scorch mark on the back of its dome, right? Yeah.
I love that. Yeah.
There was one really early in the episode when he first gets to Tatooine and he's talking to Amy Sedaris again, where she's like, if this thing duplicates or attaches or whatever, I'll take it. Like, is that a Gremlins reference? I think that's a Gremlins reference.
I very much think that was a Gremlins reference as well.
Oh my God, it's all over the place.
Yeah.
We are all Amy Sedaris when it comes to Baby Yoda.
Oh, totally.
Yeah. Yes. Addie got one for her birthday.
Oh,
she was very happy. You know what's pretty cool with this thing though is you could just put a glove inside of the actual outfit and you could puppet this thing if you set it up
no
right.
way.
Like,
Oh my God.
you can't, but if you set it up right, you can.
Once I get my printers here, I'm printing its feet.
Nice.
Oh,
It bothers me that it doesn't have feet.
Like a little cup for it to hold and stuff.
Well, I got the one over at I think it was Costco where it's got the ball
Oh, nice.
and the frog and everything. Like,
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Right on. Oh my God.
Great.
And then, so I watched this with my husband, and like through the first half, like all the little Baby Yoda scenes, we were both just like making like the cute noises and, oh my God, you're baby. Oh my God.
Yeah. I know. Yeah. And that was, that was a good thing too, is that obviously they gave us a lot of sort of, close-ups with him, with Baby Yoda and everything, but he wasn't in any way sort of like part of, like he was just sort of along for the ride this episode, which I thought brought a little more to the episode, that it was they didn't have to rely on, as Grief Karga said, doing the wavy hand thing.
Yeah, do the
Baby Yoda meme.
But no, I dug that part of it, that it was that they didn't sort of rely on him to get them out of this mess,
Right.
So
And they put him in just enough to make everybody happy. If here's your Baby Yoda fix, and then we're going to go on to the actual story.
Yeah. I'm really looking forward to the cosplay side of things, about seeing how many people are going to do the Marshall style setup with Boba Fett's armor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, absolutely.
The minute he walked in the door, I'm like, oh, I like that idea way better than building a Boba Fett.
Right.
I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Here we go.
I'm like,
awesome.
maybe I'm gonna build a back form table so I can make TK Stormtrooper armor. I'm gonna build a mannequin for my Mandalorian armor. She's like, just slow down, please. I was like, no. I have the space to do it now.
Right.
That's awesome.
Oh man, you're gonna have the gallery. Your office has become a gallery with all the armor you're gonna build.
Oh yeah. I'm
Life
putting all my Star Wars posters that I got, like the visit Endor.
Oh yeah.
My wife got a bunch of them for my birthday. I'm gonna put them all up on the wall, and yeah, it's pretty much gonna be a small Star Wars office.
Yeah. Nice.
The way it should be.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Was there anything that anybody didn't like about this episode?
We only got one episode.
The talking. Yeah. I didn't like them switching from sign to full on communication with the Sand People. I think they had to do it though to humanize it even more and to actually make that work.
Kind of give them a little bit more humanity versus what we saw with the slaughtering that we got in earlier episodes.
Right. Yeah, for sure. Other than that though, wow, that's a good question. I don't think I have anything real substantive to argue there.
No, and I think that they needed that just to have Cobb Vanth sort of seem like not ready to sort of jump on board, even though Mandalorian is fully fluent in person,
Right.
So yeah, I agree that I think that scene did maybe take a little too long, but
the one where they were around the fire.
Right. Yeah. So
he got to use his flamethrower though.
Yeah.
Yes. No, absolutely.
At least once every episode.
Let's smell that flamethrower. Oh my God. I wonder if they have like a stock animation for the fire so they can just throw it in whenever they want. It doesn't cost them much money.
Right.
Might as well.
Well, what do you need? You need a match and a hairspray bottle. That's all you need, right?
Yeah, you can't have too much flamethrower. I don't think that's the thing.
Yeah. Right. You got Johnny Fire Sticks on the side, ready to go at a moment's notice with this.
Wait, his name is Johnny too. I think you have a complex, Andy.
Right? Yeah. He's got one eyebrow, looking like Fire Marshal Bill and shit.
Let me show you something. Let's say you're talking to a bunch of Sand People. Somebody pulls a gun. There's some escalated words. Uh-oh. And we broke Joe. I haven't had a chance to do a Fire Marshal Bill impression in 20 years.
I'm so happy I could make that happen.
That's amazing.
Right.
Oh my God, it hurts.
I'm sweating now. I don't know how to.
I'm not even wearing the helmet anymore.
No.
Yeah. But and then isn't Cobb Vanth an extended universe character? Wasn't he in the Aftermath novels?
I think so.
Yeah.
Because I know they detailed his backstory in the books.
Right.
And they gave him a really detailed story about what he did and what he went through, and they kind of just glossed over a lot of that with this.
Yeah.
But I don't know if we really needed it, to be honest, because we kind of get a quick glimpse of why he is the way he is.
Yeah.
And then cut to right now where go away, dog. Sorry. Dog decided he wanted to come over and climb under the desk.
That's okay. There's an episode goes by where you don't hear Xander rage yelling at Minecraft. So
that's funny.
Sounds like a typical Tuesday at my house.
All right. Yeah.
But yeah, I know that they detail a lot of him in the books, but they kind of, I don't know if they're going to, the way they ended that with, I hope to see you again type deal. It makes me wonder if they're going to bring him back later. Like if we're going to see more of what's going on Tatooine versus the rest of the universe.
I think it's going to be a Quill type situation where they're, at the end, he's going to need, and I mean, aside from gathering that armor in from Jawas, man, he really knew how to use it really well.
Yeah.
Dude, the scene where he targets the miner running away and then rocket launches him was so great. And then and then just the jetpack scene at the end with him, it's like, no, dude, because
he was pretty proficient with it.
Well, and consider the timeline again though, because it's been 5 years, right?
True.
Right, it's been 5 years. Yeah, and we got to see sort of real time what happened when the Death Star blew up in that little town.
Right. Yeah, that's what Austin was saying. Like, where's that timeline? And now he's had all this time to work on it. Where does he store the extra rockets? I want to know. And
that's a big one. Yeah.
Are there there's got to be like microbots in the backpack that build it or something? That'd be cool. That's one thing I actually didn't like, and I don't know why it bugged me. is that he bent down to shoot the rocket off.
Yeah.
Like you're
Right.
targeting the thing, just launch it up and go down.
I read somewhere that it was a callback to the holiday episode.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay.
Yep.
That makes sense
Yeah.
then.
And apparently we're getting a holiday episode right
Yes.
before
Yeah, we
Thanksgiving
are.
too, which I'm
They said it as a joke originally, but then they made it.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
I know.
Please make it campy.
Right. Right.
Oh my god. So
Excuse
amazing.
me.
I did
Yeah.
like how they gave the crate dragon some intelligence though, when it like
Yeah.
backed up to the top of the mountain and then was spraying at him
Oh,
from up
yeah.
there.
God.
God, it was so cool.
It made it a lot more than just a mindless beast that comes out and attacks everything.
Right.
It really gave it a whole different dimension when it goes back into the cave and then it comes out of the mountain and you're like, wait, where? Oh crap!
Yeah, it's like as a lair action or whatever. Like I was hoping for some major D&D stuff to be called.
Yeah.
Come
Right.
on. Oh my god.
There you go.
I-
Yeah.
Every other
no,
Tuesday.
There you go.
Nice.
Yeah, I thought that was great. Yeah, the second they try to bait him with the bantha and it
Mhm.
goes after the guy.
That was great.
Mhm.
And it's like, oh man.
That was
Yep.
amazing.
I was yelling at the TV. I'm like, run! You're not running fast.
Right.
Dude, you're gonna get eaten.
Yeah.
You're gone.
What was the name of this episode again? It was the sheriff, right?
The
Marshall.
The marshal. Why wasn't it called Tremors?
Right.
'Cause that would have made my
Exactly.
fucking day. That would have made my day.
Oh man, when that
Yeah.
crate dragon was going through the sand, I was like,
Uh-huh.
it's a graboid.
Boys.
It's like, didn't they already make this as a movie?
Right. Busted the wrong goddamn rec room down, didn't you? Like,
Right.
God, I love that movie. Oh
I
my
was
God.
just yelling, save the spice, save the spice.
Nice. Oh my god, that's amazing. So our Andy, you know this, I think Joe knows this too, but we have a gaming group that's been going on for a couple decades called Land Sharks. Land Shark Motorcycle Club. Basically, it's just a funny pun. But then the Land Shark came and showed its colors tonight, or last on the reveal there, and we were going crazy. Like our group chat was just blowing up. It was great.
That's
Oh, man.
awesome.
Oh, man.
Good times.
Yeah. So, and I know we've talked about it a little bit, but what are we looking forward to with the rest of the season now? Now that we have episode 1 in the books, and that sort of hit that really, really, really fucking high bar.
Yeah.
What
Let's
can
go
they
around.
do? Yeah, Austin,
Oh, okay.
fired up.
I'm
What do you got?
hoping that we get like a definitive what happened with Boba Fett. You know, and I keep seeing things pop up where, you know, oh, it's Rex or it's Commander Cody or it wasn't. Boba Fett was the only one that was an unaltered clone. He's the only one that would have aged correctly to this point. So we know that it's Boba Fett,
Yeah.
but we don't know how he got to where he's at. And I hope that they give us a good explanation as to why. And I'm hoping that if there is a showdown with the Mandalorian, that it's not going to be a blaster battle and then Boba Fett's gone. That's it. You know, I'm hoping that we get some actual like sustenance from this, some actual like detail of what's going on, and not just an episode. He's a blip on the radar like he was in the movie, and then that's it.
I wouldn't be surprised at this point if they're either setting up some sort of limited
Like
run
spin-off.
series, just like a limited run series where it details like from how he got out of the Sarlacc to where he is now.
Of course.
know,
I mean,
I hope so.
how popular is Boba Fett? And now you've successfully brought him back into
Yep.
the canon. There's
Yep.
no way they're killing Boba Fett.
Right.
And
Huge for them.
Or just having him as a one-off sort of walk-off like they did here.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
You paid it off a little. You need
Right.
to pay it off a
Right.
little. Right.
Well, he
Yeah.
wants his armor. There's no way he's letting that get away.
yeah.
No, that's the truth. Yeah.
I'll keep my comments for after. Let Jobin go.
Okay.
I'm looking forward to, and forgive me, I cannot remember his name, but the bad guy at the end of season 1 with the
Moff
Darth-
Gideon.
Moff Gideon.
yes,
Yep.
I want more of him.
Yeah.
More evil, more dark side, yay, more empire.
Jesus Christ.
More evil.
Yes.
That's crazy.
So
Oh,
yeah,
God.
I'm looking forward to his backstory and seeing what's going on with that.
Yeah, I'd like to know
Yeah.
how he got the dark saber.
Hmm.
Yeah. We'll let Nate finish this off, so I'll go. I'm thinking that I just want I love the path that he's on in order to sort of bring the child back to his family, that he needs sort of the other Mandalorian guidance to sort of, if they know of anybody or anything, which makes sense now that that Ashoka would be in this season, someone who knows the Jedi, right? And can point him sort of the way. But yeah, I absolutely think we're going to see some of those sort of high profile Mandalorians that were in the animated series, like Sabine. I mean, because that was a pretty clear cut reference to her art.
Yeah.
I mean,
I gotta agree with you on that.
That wasn't. Yeah, no, absolutely. I think that we're going to see her this season, and it's going to tie even more to the animated series and more of these great little nuggets of Star Wars that we all sort of know and love, but never really got their moment of due in the movies just because they were telling that larger story. So no, I'm just stoked for the sort of the interconnectivity that we're going to get with this story and how it's going to play out. And I mean, yeah, how they bring around Moff Gideon towards, either in the middle or towards the end of this. I can't wait. So I'm excited. I'm very stoked. So yeah. Nate, what do you got?
The list is long and distinguished, Andy.
Like my Johnson.
Drink.
Okay. Let me make my last note here. Okay. I've got a lot. Okay. So Boba Fett episode is the first thing I have on here. So I like the idea of not touching it anymore this season. That would be just too mean. I don't think they could do that.
Yeah.
I think it'd be a great cliffhanger to just go through the entire thing and not see him again. I want a whole episode of how he got the armor in the first place, and then smash cut to him in the Sarlacc pit and how he got out of it. I think you can make an hour-long episode that hits both of those notes. I think the major theory behind Boba Fett is he's not a Mandalorian and he just has the armor because it's badass. I'm starting to think that he's a foundling. Think about what happened. Think about the last time we see Boba. His dad gets his head cut off and he's sitting there in that stadium and you don't see him again. And he's a child, right?
You see him in Clone Wars.
That's true.
No. Was it Clone Wars or was it Rebels? No, it was Clone Wars.
It's one of those, but that's still far. That's, after he's a kid, right?
He was like a teenager
at that point.
Early teenager, yeah, somewhere in that range.
I would love for them to bring something around there that somehow he's a foundling and then gets turned over to somebody else. I think that'd be a really cool way to kind of, there's even more duality between him and the Mandalorian at that point.
Yeah.
That could be pretty cool.
That would be crazy. That would be great.
Right. So, Moff Gideon, obviously, Darksaber. What the fuck? I want to know how he got the Darksaber. It's a great way to bring. I don't know if I'd bring Sabine in there, but you could totally do that because she wielded the Darksaber at one point. And guess who else wielded the Darksaber at one point? Darth Maul. And he is back canonized in the animated series after Return of the Jedi. So we could potentially see Darth Maul again. And there's rumors that could happen.
Okay.
So you could tie him in with the Darksaber also, if you wanted to. More Yodas, because obviously that's what the mission is to find more Boglings or whatever the hell the race is called.
Gremlins.
Yeah, exactly. More a new batch. Yeah, and they all have 3 fingers and heal the ouches. Ahsoka Tano and other Jedi. There are other Jedi. We know this from the expanded universe. I can't wait to see how they do Ahsoka, and I love what's her name?
Rosario Dawson.
Thank you. I love Rosario Dawson. I'm not sure if I can buy her as Ahsoka just off the top of my head, considering Ahsoka's like this crazy gymnast fighting style Jedi, and at this point would be a lot older, and I guess actually no, she wouldn't be. Because
I was gonna ask, how old would Ahsoka be? Because I've only watched like the first maybe 2 seasons of Clone Wars. So the last I saw her, she was like, what, 16?
Yeah, well, the Clone Wars goes all the way back to Anakin, right? That's before Darth Vader.
Yeah.
They do show her in Rebels, and she is an adult at that point.
Okay.
That's
so
right.
that's fair point.
I have to step away for 2 seconds. My dog made a mess.
Oh, no worries, dude.
I'll be right back.
I left off with Ahsoka and Other Jedi. Ezra Bridger from Rebels.
That'd be a good one to see.
Well, especially if they're gonna tie in Sabine at all, that'd be really cool. He's a kick-ass character. If you guys haven't seen those, I highly recommend it. Obviously, Death Watch I talked about earlier. So interesting to see what happens there, even though I think Death Watch is gone now. But actually, no, because they appear later, so they should be there. I said Darth Maul, Cad Bane, and other badass bounty hunters coming after the child.
Cad Bane wore spurs too.
Right, exactly. So what I'm hoping for is we get some really high-level bounty hunters coming after the child, as opposed to these sideshow guys that are just, hiding. Just terrible. I don't know what's happening here. I mean, obviously Mando's the best bounty hunter, but the rest of them are just dipshits. So I'd like to see a little more risk on that side. I think that'd be really cool to ratchet that up and get some good tension going. And then the last one is the Emperor's Resurrection. So they're, from what I've heard, that's why the Empire wanted Baby Yoda. That's just from random stuff floating around. And the rumor that I've heard is that we're going to find out that somehow the essence or whatever they took out of Baby Yoda's is how they get the Empire or the Emperor back.
Yes.
So I don't know if that's
Palpatine.
Yeah, exactly. I don't know if that's real, but that's what I heard, and it'd be interesting just to get a nugget, because we haven't tied that loop up. Like, why did they want him? What were they doing?
Right.
They're harvesting essence or whatever. Yeah.
Well,
so,
and
they're feeding the Dark Crystal.
Yes, exactly.
Well, no, and that's interesting. Yeah, that's interesting too, because that's sort of the one trilogy that you can't tie to yet because it hasn't happened yet.
Right.
And so if they do that, if they somehow sort of bridge the gap, if they do sort of Rogue One it, and really sort of make it I don't know. That could make this the best Star Wars of all time, I think.
It's definitely quickly becoming the best.
Yeah.
Well, this is definitely the best Star Wars that we've had since the original trilogy. Since Empire Strikes Back.
I want to put Rogue One in there too, because that's a hell of a movie.
No, it's an incredible movie. I think Rogue One is I call it episode 3.5. It is absolutely works within the scope of how episode 3 ended and how episode 4 starts. And I love that we literally get 3 seconds before episode 4 starts, and just that last scene in Rogue One.
Oh yeah.
I want a whole movie of Vader doing that.
Angry Vader.
God damn.
How have they not done this yet with Vader hunting down the Jedi across the universe or the galaxy or whatever? That needs to happen. There's a finite amount of gaps that we can play in here.
Well, you know what?
Only if Favreau's involved.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah, Filoni,
yeah.
Favreau too, but Filoni for sure.
Yeah, but I think it's one of those things where Darth Vader is your sort of premier character. He is the Batman of the Star Wars universe. And
exactly right.
And you only use him in the right way, in the right context, and you can't give him
Fair point. Don't overdo it like Batman.
I mean, they did a no scene with him.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess that's a good point. But I think the comic books handled all that too.
That's
but the comic books handled a lot of the stuff that we're getting now, like with Boba Fett and with Cobb Vann. All that stuff was already detailed. Now we're getting it in a visual aspect or a TV aspect. So it's like, why don't they give us a even just like a one-off movie with Vader and what he's going through. Because I mean, we all know that the suit was designed to cause pain, and it was designed to amplify his power. But I want to see why.
Mm-hmm.
I want more of that.
I want more of that last part of Rogue One. That's
right.
God, I was so happy when I saw that.
Oh yeah.
And can we do it while we still have James Earl Jones, please?
Right. Exactly.
Yes.
Yeah. Although his voice was a little weathered in the last movie.
Yeah.
You could tell
it was
when he spoke.
Yeah, if anybody has any foresight, which obviously Star Wars has been lacking of until The Mandalorian, they would have kept him in a sound booth for as much time as possible, just running through every line of every movie they've ever had and digitizing him as a person. Well, right. I mean, I'm sure, I forget exactly what it is, but when you're creating those automated voices off of real people, there's a certain number of phrases that you have to say in order to actually be able to say pretty much anything. It doesn't sound very natural, but I'm sure technology has made that much better at this point. So that'd be cool.
Yeah, and they've had some decent. Because I know the guy who did him in God, what was the video game series?
The Star Killer one, right?
Force Unleashed.
Force Unleashed. Yeah, the guy who voiced Vader, and that was really good.
Yep.
And I thought it was James Earl Jones initially, but it wasn't.
That's a good point.
So I mean, there are people out there that can do that voice and make it sound believable. And but honestly,
it's modulated quite a bit too. So
right, but I mean, but Joe, you're right. As long as he's alive, he's going to voice it. If he can't speak anymore,
put him in a bubble next to Betty White.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Exactly. Yeah.
Ooh, Betty White for Darth Vader. I like that idea.
Oh, there you go. There it is.
Back at St. Olaf's, I will kill all the Jedi.
Oh man. Final thoughts. What are we just? I mean, yeehaw! It's back. We fucking awesome.
I can't do the sand people thing. Like it's super celebrate at the end, and holy fucking Pearl! Holy damn!
Yeah.
Pearl they pulled out was like.
Oh god, that was good. Yeah.
It's like a
motorcycle.
dodgeball.
Like a motorcycle helmet. Yeah, it was huge.
Yeah.
I actually have a random question from my husband. So when Baby Yoda's in the little Baby Yoda carrier, does he control that thing, or does Mando have a little remote control and it just follows him around?
I think what they did is the Mando computer that they have on his bracer is linked with the pod, because you see in season 1 where he pushes a button and then it starts following him. So I think he controls
it.
But we got the little button on the front that closes it, which was my favorite. Like, it was amazing.
Yeah, that's true. Andy, you mentioned that earlier. There wasn't a good Yoda meme out of this one, but that was as close as you got.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny.
Yeah.
Go for Crate Dragon 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Right.
I don't know, man. I'm excited. I can't wait. When does it come out? What day? Sundays? Fridays?
Friday nights. Yeah.
Okay. 4 days.
Or Fridays. Yeah. So.
Right on. Well, hopefully there's still a world to watch it in. Friday.
That's true. Absolutely.
We'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So for all 3 people who are listening, we are recording on election night.
Yeah.
So we have no idea if there will be somewhere to upload this MP3 to. Maybe this will be the last recorded human voices that people hear.
Yeah. Well, no, because Skynet will be active, so we'll be fine.
Oh, that's true.
They're here to take care of us, and the Wayland Yutani Corporation will start up. And
that's right.
My name is Blinky, and I want to be your friend.
Yeah.
I almost sent you that video today, Joe. I watched it just randomly today.
Blinky.
I know.
Does anybody else have any final thoughts? What are we thinking here, Andy?
I don't know. Like Austin, where are you? Just tell me your thoughts. Final thoughts
on where I hope that this goes, or just in general.
How you feeling in general?
Yeah.
Well, today, no. I'm stoked that it's back. The downtime from season 1 to now, it was awful.
Yeah.
You can only play so much Knights of the Old Republic to get your Star Wars fix.
Yeah. Yeah, I tried going back to that, and man, it has not aged well.
No.
No.
Yeah.
They've added a lot to it, but man, it's I need to redo that stat.
Yeah. I'm glad it's back, and I hope that they keep going the way that they're going with it. I hope that we don't lose any of the magic that we're getting from it, and that love that we all have for it. I hope it doesn't dissipate at all through this season.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna have that downtime from 2 to 3, which is gonna suck again. But
I mean, it's going to be hard to keep up this clip that they started out real strong.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, we can only hope.
Yeah. Joe, what about you? Final thoughts?
Where can I get the album, the soundtrack, so that I can have the music as my background music for life?
Right. Yeah.
Sure.
I sent you guys the 80s synth version of that theme, right?
Oh,
You did.
yes, that was amazing.
Oh God, Austin, if I didn't send that to you, I will.
Okay.
Yeah, it's so good. But yeah, I went on a deep dive. My coworker sent that to me, and then like it automatically started this playlist of Mandalorian themed covers that like ranged from like cello to like metal to, it was just, oh man, it was so good. And like it was like I got an hour's worth of alternate Mandalorian themes that like it was
Nice.
it was incredible. So anyway,
Yeah. I think same to Austin's point of just, hopefully that they can keep this going and keep the magic, because it's just so good.
yeah, I think as long as Favreau and Filoni are behind this will be amazing. It'll be incredible. It'll be absolutely on par with there it is now. If for some reason they get an itch, or if they promote Favreau to head of Star Wars, then it will lose its luster.
As long as they keep Kathleen Kennedy as far away as possible, because she almost torpedoed this in the first place. So let's keep her as far away as we can.
Right.
She hosed Kenobi, so
she did.
Yeah. So anyway, so what did you guys think of The Mandalorian season 2, episode 1? Let us know in the comments. You can find us on Facebook at Rum Regret. We are online at rumandregret.com. You can listen to us where you get podcasts, anywhere you get podcasts. We are everywhere. Just search for Rum Regret podcast. Joe, where can they find you on the socials?
Joe Chickadee on the socials, or joechickadee.com.
Yeah. Nate, where can they find you?
Yeah, Avid Gamer on the socials, AV1D Gamer, and I'm pretty sure I still have avidgamer.com, although I guarantee you it's out of date. So
yeah,
don't go there.
Right.
But Avid Gamer on PlayStation Network as well.
Yeah, and then Austin, are you okay with sharing your socials on a podcast that maybe 5 people will listen to?
I don't really have a social footprint.
That's true.
I'm on Facebook. That's about it.
Right.
Another ungoogleable man.
Yeah.
I just started Twitch streaming, so that's about it.
Okay.
Nice.
Oh,
Well,
right
get
on.
out your Twitch.
Oh yeah, what's your Twitch tag?
Oh, what is my Twitch tag?
Well, we'll find it.
I think I'm going under Dickie 0007.
Okay. All right. We'll link it up in the.
I'll find it and I'll tag it.
Okay. Yeah. We'll link it up in the description. Yeah. Anyway, you can find me at Crazy Drake on Facebook, on the Facebook.
That's staying in. That's staying in.
On the Facebook.
Under Facebook.
Wait, are you the Swedish chef suddenly? What's happening?
Just spit all over my leg.
Oh, God. And Andrew Drake on the Twitter. And until the next time, we have spoken.
Boba Fett.
Boba Fett. Boba Fett.
Wait, last thing. He hits the jetpack.
Oh, he hits
just
the
like they
jetpack.
did in Return of the Jedi.
You tell your people I didn't
God.
do that.
Right. Oh God, that was so good. That was such a great callback.
Oh, it was amazing.
Oh man,
I'm so glad I remembered that at the end.
Oh.
How did we not remember?
I don't
I
know.
know. God, that was
It's
so
okay.
good.
We're good.
So good.
We out.
Yeah. Oh man.